F&G shit. F&G shit. Shout out
Big homie Trey Boogie.
We slide.
Johnny Rocket.
Sliding in the rentals, trying to run the milli up. In the southeast, Trey Boogie been a plug. Rubber bands on the blues, hella panoramic views. If you get into it with the squad, you can never lose. It's on the flow like Yellow Rider. I got your vibe on the toes like nail polish. In the city, we get respected from everybody. You about to pull up on Trey Boogie, now let's chop it. If you talking about the game, let's chop it up. If you talking about the hustle, let's chop it up. If you talking about the grind, let's chop it up. Talking about some fly vibes, baby, let's chop it up. If you talking about the game, let's chop it up. If you talking about the hustle, let's chop it up. If you talking about the grind, let's chop it up. Talking about some fly vibes, baby, let's chop it up. Let's chop it up. Got it wet, it's not a cut. Ain't worried about what nobody else got, cause I got enough. Me and Trey Boogie locked in, he threw a lob, I dunk. Heard the beat and sauced it up, can't nobody go hard as us. If you talking about the game, let's chop it up. If you talking about the hustle, let's chop it up. If you talking about the grind, let's chop it up. Talking about some fly vibes, baby, let's chop it up. If you talking about the game, let's chop it up. If you talking about the hustle, let's chop it up. If you talking about the grind, let's chop it up. Talking about some fly vibes, baby, let's chop it up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How y'all doing? Hey, I hope everyone's safe today. If you're out here in San Diego on the West Coast, Baja, California, man, I just hope y'all safe from Hillary. What is it called? Hurricane Hillary. You know, we didn't get it as bad as I thought we were so far, but I believe the worst is yet to come. So, you know, if you're a praying person, send some prayers out there for our less fortunate and our homeless, houseless people. You know, if you believe in positive vibes, whatever you believe in, send that positivity out there for them because they need it more than ever right now. Hope they warm. Hope they found a nice place to lay their head for the night. But hey, this is Let's Chop It Up. You know, my first Sunday edition of it. So I know I'm catching some of y'all by surprise. So, go ahead and share. Today, this is a special episode. We got a talented individual I'm about to bring on, and I'm allow him to introduce himself. I could say he's a singer, a songwriter, a producer, a Zen Buddhist teacher, and like he said, he's a all-around do-gooder. Bobby Chowa. How you doing, my brother?
What's up, man? Good to be here. Thanks for having me. Bobby Chowa.
Chowa. Hey, I just said I was going to say it right, too.
That's all right.
In my head, Chowa, Bobby Chowa. My bad, man. Nice meeting you.
By any other name would smell as sweet, right?
That's it. Nice meeting you. Thanks for coming on the platform. It's been I know my cousin been trying to make this happen. I was dealing with some issues before, but hey, we made it happen.
It's ironic, your cousin? I didn't even know that.
Yes, that's my cousin. I want to ask you, how did you and him come to pass each other's parts?
Yo, it's a great story. It's one of my favorite kinds of stories. So yeah, the dude that hooked me up with Trey Boogie here, his name is Tyronic. And I was just down the street. I live here in National City. And I was down the street just doing some laundry at the local laundromat. And I was waiting for my clothes to finish. And I look over at the car next to me, and there's a dude in there just bobbing, spitting some flows. He had his windows up and everything, but he was just feeling himself. And sometimes you just gotta say yes to life. Sometimes you just gotta take an opportunity that's calling to you. And something about this dude just jamming in his car told me, I need to meet this fool. And so I straight up did one of these. He rolled down his window. I said, are you flowing? He said, yeah, man, these are my beats. And I'm just putting some lyrics to them. And I said, they sound pretty cool, man. That's really dope. And then we met each other. He was doing laundry there too. And, something about the vibe or whatever let me know that he might not be a hostile person or someone who doesn't want to make a new friend. Or it was just something about the moment that
Mm.
told me that I had to meet a new friend. And so he's come over, he's come to some parties, and we've talked music. I've worked on some beats with him, and
Cool.
I'm really happy that I said hello that day.
That's right. Yeah, he speak highly of you, and you
Mm.
know, you of a person, and your character and your talent. So, you know, we had to make this happen. We had
Feeling
to make this
mutual.
happen.
Feelings mutual, absolutely.
So this I like to call it the elevator pitch, right? So
Mm.
quickly let them know who you are, where you come from, and what do you do.
That's what's up. My name is Bobby, or Chowa. Chowa is my Buddhist name. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, bounced around for a little bit, but basically, since before puberty, it was always music and my spiritual practice, which was Buddhism. And so now I'm 38. I've lived in and out of San Diego over the years, but I've been here now for about 5 years, coming up on 5 years. And
Okay.
I had a long career in the music industry. I was a songwriter signed with Sony BMG. I've written and composed a lot of music for TV and film, a lot of music libraries. And I've always had, my religious spiritual practice at kind of the top of the list. And so I guess with all the change and moving around and all the nomad kind of living I've done, I have definitely had music and my Zen Buddhist practice as kind of through lines that have kind of been there the whole time. So right now I'm living at Sweetwater Zen Center, which is in National City, right across from Sweetwater High School on Highland Avenue.
Okay.
Maybe you all know it. Actually, very close to where Tyronic lives, and so we're
Yeah.
neighbors. And yeah, I'm just here as a teacher and manager and temple administrator. We're trying to present and manifest Buddha's teachings and Buddha's practice within the context of a modern urban environment. We're trying to make these teachings and this practice accessible to all kinds of people. And like you said, we're just trying to do good. And I got my studio here in the house. I've been making music. I've actually been working on an album this summer that should be dropping sometime in the fall. So that's my little elevator pitch.
That's good. That's good. A lot. You do a lot, man, and I applaud you for the things you do. Um, but let's dig into it, man. How long have you been, you know, actually doing music, and what got you into doing music?
Let's see. I think the first moment, I mean, I grew up with, my mom's was a very musical person. There was always music playing in the house, all different kinds of music too. And so I definitely knew that I was a musical, creative person. But I do remember one particular moment, I think I was 14 or 15, and I heard a song by a dude named Ben Harper. He's a little
Ben
known dude.
Harper.
Ben Harper. He's a brother from like Merced, California,
Hmm.
I think, or somewhere up there in like middle of nowhere, California. And he had this song called Oppression. And it's just him and an acoustic guitar and maybe like a conga or some kind of percussion instrument. And my sister was playing it from her room. And our rooms were right next to each other. And I remember I walked by and I did one of those like, what the hell is that? Like just the sound of that
Yeah.
song, whatever was happening, it was unlike anything I'd ever heard before. I was just, I was a kid. I was just listening to hip hop and R&B basically all the time. And then I heard this Ben Harper song, and it had a quality to it that reverberated in my soul. And I knew at that moment, I want to create something that has that, some kind of music that has that punch. So I think that was the moment where my relationship with music really changed. I started to write songs more seriously. I started to learn instruments. I started to listen to a broader spectrum of music. So yeah, I'd say about 15 or 16 when I started songwriting, joining bands, recording songs, really kind of thinking in that direction.
Cool. Cool. said instruments you play.
Sorry, man. You're chopping it up on me. It's a little too choppy. What'd you say? I didn't hear you.
It got a little windy on me. Can you hear me now?
It's a little bit fuzzy. Let's try it out though. Hillary's fucking with us.
Yeah. Let me shut these windows. But yeah, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Better? Okay,
Yes,
yes.
sir.
I was talking about, you said instrument. You brought up instruments. What instruments do you play?
So I always like to think of it as I play a handful of instruments very not well. You know what I'm saying? Like I would never, sell myself as a studio musician or as a gigging musician just because I know there are so many cats out there who dedicate themselves to their instruments and they really are, just so much talent in the world. But, for my purposes, for making the kind of music I make, for the little bit of jamming around that I do, I play a little bit of piano, I play the drums, that's my favorite. I got a bunch of guitars, I could strum a little bit on the guitar. I could, pluck a bass if I need to. I love playing the kazoo. That's my favorite instrument after the
Kazoo.
drums. The kazoo, man, I fuck with the kazoo for sure.
Yeah.
And I have a bunch of percussion instruments as well. The udu drum is a really fun one to play. I got some bongos. I can play some congas a little bit. Let's see. I think that's about it. Oh, and I did learn. If anybody wants to see, there's a fun instrument you can make if you don't have a kazoo handy. You take a cone, right? One of them little black cones that
Mm.
use for whatever, and you take a rolling paper, like a joint paper, and you
Mm.
put it over the cone, and you blow into it, and you can make kind of like a little kazoo trumpety sound.
That's wild. That's
Yeah, right.
wild. And you said bands, and I've seen you was in a few bands, man. You got what? Sweet Vicious, right?
I don't
You,
know.
Sweet Vicious, is that one of your bands? Can you hear me?
No. Yeah, no.
Not Sweet. Carbon, Wire, Envy, Adams, and Violet, right? I've
I don't
seen
know,
something
man.
about that. Maybe they my people got you mixed up with someone else on that info, so I'm gonna have to talk to them about it.
I think
But you're
maybe I
saying a
know.
couple of bands. You're talking about bands. What bands are you in, or currently, or were in?
Oh, well, that's band life is way in the past, man. I was in a band in high school called Standard, a bunch of incredible musicians, and I was the lead singer of that band. I was in a couple bands in college. Fiebre, I was in a band called Fiebre. We kind of did like a Latin hip hop mix. But that was pretty much the gist. Yeah, that was kind of it for my band life. I always wanted to be a solo artist. Right now, I do work and tour with an a cappella group. It's not really a band; it's an a cappella group. And for those at home who don't know what a cappella means, it's when you see people singing without any instruments, right? So there's just four of us, and we're harmonizing together, singing that kind of oldies doo-wop music from the 50s and the 60s. So it's not really a band; it's more of a singing group. But yeah, we're called the Alley Cats, and we do a lot of cruise ship gigs. We do
Alley
some,
Cats.
yeah, man. The Alley Cats is where it's at, man. I love them. I came up singing with a different a cappella group called the Street Cats, and we used to pop up in Los Angeles. We used to go outside of the various theaters, the Pantages Theater, the Dorothy Chandler, the Amundsen, the Mark Taper. We would go outside of those theaters before the shows and do our thing, put a hat out, and just get broke off as best we could. So I kind of came up doing that, and then through them I found a little bit more of a professional gig doing that acapella stuff.
Have you been doing any shows out in San Diego?
I haven't, man. I really haven't. I had a big show that I did last year. I just did my solo stuff. I had a bunch of my good friends and wonderful artists that I know join me. We kind of had a little collective artist night. We did that in Hollywood at the Bourbon Room. But nah, man, I haven't performed in San Diego since probably 2021 when the Alley Cats were performing at the Safari Park for Christmas.
That sounds dope. That sounds dope. How did you take you guys? How did the audience take you guys?
At the Safari Park?
Yeah.
Oh, fine. We're not, sometimes we're on stage, but mostly we're just walking around and singing to people, and they're just tired, their feet hurt, their kids are whining, they're just happy to have a little bit of music and entertainment.
That's cool. And, earlier you mentioned about some work with TV shows, some production with them, right? You got some music placed on them shows. What shows are you for the listeners, the audience? What shows are you coursing?
So, yeah, basically I got hooked up with a music library, right? I was straight out of school, and a good friend of mine, like they always say, it's all about who you know, right? And I had a good friend from childhood, and she was just a secretary at this music library. But she said, yo, like, if you're making music, give me a little. At that time, we had these things called CDs. Maybe some of our younger listeners don't remember.
Right.
It's like small vinyl. But yeah, she said, give me a CD and I'll see if I can get it to my boss. And she did, and he actually liked kind of what I did. And so I kind of slipped into that music library. And this music library is called Telepictures Productions, or Telepictures Music. Yeah, I just kind of started giving them a whole bunch of the songs and instrumental pieces of music. And I have probably close to 500, 600 pieces of music in their library. And so they put a whole bunch of them on shows like TMZ and Extra and Ellen. I was getting some Tyra placements for a while. I've been getting a whole bunch of Teen Titans Go. It's a kids show, I guess. I've never even really seen it. That's
I love
the thing.
Teen Titans Go. Yeah, I watch it.
You watch that shit? Okay, well, you probably heard some of my music on it. That's
cool. Funny. Yeah, what are you working on right now? You say you got music. I know you got music coming out pretty soon. Any other projects you got going
on? Let's see. So yeah, I'm gonna be releasing an album coming up soon. Probably do some touring with the Alley Cats come December, because that's the holiday season. That's when it gets kind of busy. But otherwise, yeah, man, I'm just focusing on this album, and yeah, that's where all my creative energy is going. I'm getting a few people that are hollering at me saying that they're not connecting. I don't know if there's some. I got a bunch of people saying, "Hey, I'm on Instagram. It's not live on IG, so they can catch it later if they want." But I got a bunch of people saying, "Where's it at?" Just so you know.
Okay, what I'll do, are you on your phone right now?
I am. I have my phone with me, yes.
Okay. Send them there and they could get on. Sorry about that. While you do that, go ahead and, you know what, let's take a commercial break real quick. A quick 1 minute and 25-second break. I got to do some promoting for, pay the bills with the sponsor.
Yes, sir.
And hopefully your folks come on, and we'll be back on in a minute and a minute in a minute.
All right.
Young God, I was born that. Don't ask me, ask OG, and they gon' say I'm on that. My mob tied, cause I get love from all sides. OG's a young God, OG's a young God, OG's a young God, OG's a young God. Blood idol, learn to trap off that thug Bible. But candy paint on my whip's door, suicidal. OG's a young God, OG's a young God, OG's a young God, OG's a young God. Cause real killers never rap about the demons that kill. It's young gods and OGs, ghetto soldiers with heart. We like to war day and night, just don't get caught in the dark. When everybody's cool, nobody's acting a fool. We playing OGs and young gods.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, be on the lookout for the new podcast, OGs and Young Gods, coming to all platforms,
That looks dope.
sites everywhere. But yeah, I see your people are on here now. So you want to shout them out? You see them coming on? I see. You got.
Hey,
You see on the
Sunset Kava Lounge. Yes, we got to plug Sunset. Kave's here. Hell yeah. Sunset Kava Lounge. For anybody who hasn't tried kava yet, it is a tea made from the root of a plant from Fiji. And it is a calming, beautiful drink and beverage. And I just want to shout out Sunset Kava in City Heights on University. Miss Tai Sheen runs it, and I'm very happy to be a regular customer and a part-time employee. When I get a little time, I go there and work sometimes, and it's a beautiful community. It's a beautiful environment. So everybody check out Sunset Kava on University.
Got to check them out. Yeah, you got some people coming on. I'll let you see real quick before we play one of your songs.
Beto's here, Stefan's here, nice. Yeah, I guess it's working on YouTube, but not on the Instagram.
Might have to fix that code. Instagram be weird now. So, but hey, I appreciate y'all tapping in. Let's go ahead and listen to play one of your songs for them real quick.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Go ahead and introduce it.
Okay, so yeah, Mr. Boogie wanted to play a song of mine called Coup de Grace, which is an older song. I wrote it a number of years ago. And coup de grace,
I like it.
Yeah, it's a French word that refers to like the final blow. You know, it's like when you're playing Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter. I don't even know when they're like finish him. You know, it's like that last final thing that puts you over the edge. And so back in my more pop song writing days, I kind of thought about it in terms of a relationship and maybe a female or anyone who you fall in love with. And after all the different attempts at love you may have had, this one last one is just the coup de grace, just the one that puts you over. You are my bae. So without further ado, coup de grace.
There's no more drama, chillin' Dalai Lama, hot like Benihana, steamy like a sauna, make it even warmer, cause you the crew that How did I get in your grip? Didn't even take a sip, before that I knew it, I slipped, way down into the abyss, you broke, You better have my back, cause you was the last straw, You the crew that like the bad sexy ass kinda killer. I hear the song. What you did to walk? Tell me, baby, who you think you are? I met you with her to surrender, never before. It's only two and one. You did good to
Yeah, just a little.
Dude, I just like that beat. I ain't gonna lie. I like the track. I like that. I like how it starts off. It's catchy. But we're gonna play we're gonna give them a sneak peek of something in a little bit. But go ahead and say what you were saying.
Oh, I just wanted to shout out the producer who made that beat, who is my boy Minority, Jose Lopez. He's a great producer. I hope you're doing good, man, wherever you're at. His brother, Frisco, they really supported me back when I was doing my thing. So much love to Jose and Frisco. So.
Now let's talk about the do-gooder part of your character. I seen something where it was a mobile. Is that something is it your company or you're a part of it?
You kind of chopped up again. You said mobile showers, is that right?
Correct.
Cool. Yeah, man, I really appreciate, I actually wanted to say, man, I really appreciate you shouting out our unsheltered brothers and sisters during this Hurricane Hillary. California is lagging way behind on how to house folks and take care of this crisis, and we're doing the best we can. Yeah, man. So, do-gooder is, when I say that, I kind of mean it more broadly, not necessarily within the context of doing any kind of particular work, but more just
Okay.
prioritizing compassion and kindness over everything, really. But yeah, thanks for asking about the mobile showers. So I teamed up with a dude who opened a organization called Duwara Consciousness, and he's just a really good dude. And we kind of hit it off, and we both had this vision of opening a mobile shower trailer. And he had already kind of like found a company in Indiana that retrofits, big trailers. And so yeah, we designed this 40 to 50 foot trailer that we haul around with an F450, I believe, something like, I think it's 450. And we got 7 shower stalls. One of them is ADA compliant for our brothers and sisters who are in a wheelchair. And we have 2 washers and dryers in there. We have a sink so people can shave and wash up. And when we first opened it, we were actually tugging it around San Diego. We would be downtown on 16th Street
Mhm.
2 days a week, and then we would go to Pacific Beach once a week or once every other week, and then we were in El Cajon every weekend. So we were actually towing this huge trailer all around the city
Mhm.
so that the folks who needed to get some hygiene had some access.
Yeah.
And then about a year and a half ago, San Diego County caught wind of what we were doing, and they actually offered a contract to pay for a full-time running of the showers downtown on
Wow.
16th Street. Yeah, so we actually have it parked now pretty much permanently at the NAMI building, the National Alliance for Mental Illness. They host
Okay.
it, have a big parking lot basically. And so yeah, our trailer is there full time, 9:30 to 2:30. We're showering, like hundreds of people, hundreds of showers a week, tons of laundry we're doing. So that was a big passion project, and we're so happy that the county jumped on board and helping us do it full time.
Cool, man. That's lovely, man. That's good work right there. You know, I love seeing stuff like that. And the less fortunate is something me and my family pray about. We go help out as much as we can. I got my little kids learning about steward, right? Being a steward, and
Mm,
getting out
mm.
there and help within the community. Because they say we're all just one paycheck away from it being us. So
It sure can be,
you know,
man. It's amazing. I mean, the amount of unsheltered folks has grown in the past year or two, and so many of them are really just because of just that. One missed paycheck, one medical bill, and now all of a sudden you're sleeping in your car. And so this stigma that like homeless people are just drug addicts with mental illness, I
yeah,
mean, it's just plain old not true. And if you come on out and say what's up and spend time with these communities, it's clear as day.
that's right. That's right. Anything we didn't talk about, anything you want to promote that we didn't, I didn't mention, this is your time right now before you introduce your other song.
Awesome. Thank you, brother. I guess the only other thing I wanted to mention was my people at Community Through Hope. I don't know if anyone's listening right now, but that's another organization here in the South Bay that's doing some amazing work for our unsheltered communities. They provide what we call gap services, direct service, right? So it is the only place in the South Bay where people can just walk up and get a meal, ask to get their mail there, work with a social worker. They do showers there as well on every Tuesday. And we have a really, a burgeoning and really inspiring street medicine program. So every Thursday, we go out to the communities with hygiene kits, with snacks, and with a medical professional. who can suture wounds and provide, basic medications and other medical advice. So I'm really, really proud of Community Through Hope. That's communitythroughhope.org if you want to check them out. It is a small but mighty team, and the work that they're doing, they are setting the bar for people all around the city on how to do a comprehensive attack on this unsheltered crisis that we're facing.
You said in the South Bay. Where at in the South Bay exactly?
They are very close to here, Sweetwater Zen Center. They are on C Street, right? So
Okay.
if you know where the Walmart
The
is, and
Walmart and the park and all that. Yeah.
that's right, the Hobby Lobby and the Aldi's. They are in the back of that complex.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
And then
You know,
I guess
I'm
go for
I'm
it.
from out there, so I'm very familiar with that area. So
There you go. There you go. And then I guess I just had to, really mention my main gig right now. The thing that I spend most of my time doing and where most of my passion lies is here at Sweetwater Zen Center. That's swzc.org. It's kind of like what I was talking about earlier. We're an urban Buddhist temple. And so we are welcoming to all people. You don't have to be a Buddhist. We have lots of Christians, we have lots of Catholics and Jews and Sikhs and everybody who wants to just get a glimpse of what Buddhism is all about, what the depths of meditation practice can afford us, and what it really means to do deep introspection in silence. We have a really beautiful property here. We have a huge garden in the back. It's like you got Highland Avenue, you got the high school right there, and you wouldn't even know it, but you just walk in through our property, and we have these huge bamboo groves and beautiful
wow.
rock garden and a really beautiful little like outdoor meditation area. So it's a really nice way to get away when you're in the city, and if you feel like you need a break and you need to just listen to the universe breathe with you, come on down. We're on Highland Avenue, swzc.org.
And I mentioned earlier, you're a teacher there too, a Zen Buddhist teacher. How did you even get into that? Is that something you grew up in, or you found it eventually?
Kind of both. I mean, I wasn't raised Buddhist, but I was like 12 years old, I think, and I was in a class. I was in a history class just at school, and the teacher told the story of the Buddha as part of his lecture. And just in that moment, I had this, aha moment experience, and I just knew that this is what I was here for. So ever since that day, I have been pursuing the Buddhist path very assiduously and devotedly. And there's all different kinds of Buddhism. You got your Tina Turner Buddhism, the Nichiren, and you got your Dalai Lama Tibetan Buddhism. And Zen Buddhism is just one kind of Buddhism, and that's just what I happened to fall into. Those were the first books that I ever read when I was a kid, and I just kind of fell in love. So yeah, I've been coming here to Sweetwater Zen Center for about 18 years
Well,
and have been studying the teachings and our particular path, that whole time. So yeah, I became a teacher about a couple of years ago, and in about another year or so, I will be officially taking over as like what we call the abbot, or like the head person of the temple. So I'm
okay.
really
Congratulations.
jumping in, diving in head first to this path, and it's kind of scary, but it's a beautiful place, and I encourage everybody to come check it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to stop by one day and check it out. You
Hell
know.
yeah!
But right now, go ahead and introduce the song we're about to listen to. The sneak peek for some, maybe not the all.
That's right. I appreciate that, man. So yeah, I am working on this album. I should be dropping it before the end of the year. And the first one that I worked on was actually a reboot of a song that I made years and years ago that I never really was quite happy with. And so I did a reproduction, I did a rewrite, And you know, the message is simple. This too shall pass. We all struggling. Suffering is real. But one of these days you're gonna be done with these days. You know what I'm saying? So I hope you enjoy. It's kind of a new sound for me, and I'll keep everybody posted on the release of the album.
Here we go, y'all.
Thank you.
She go take another round just to get out the door. Sit now, words ain't even for how to walk on when there's nowhere to go. Lay down, over and over. All it needs a little shake up, but nobody wake up. Heads pound up against the wall, bound to set it on ablaze. But one of these days, we gonna be done with these days. One of these days, we'll be on to the next. Out of that mess. One of these days, we gonna make fun of these days. Head on there and never look back. Slow start, always in the way. Real is the struggle of another day, when all is dream and fantasy. So dark, out here in the fray. Hoping is the gamble of a young man's game. Cold hearts, reaching out for grace. Reaching out for grace. And one of these days, we gonna be done with these days. One of these days, we'll be on to the next. Out of that mess. One of these days, we gonna make fun of these days. Head on there and never look back. These ain't no rosy colored glasses. When everything's already in the past, it's time to see it don't matter anyways. 'Cause one of these days, we gonna be done with these days. One of these days, we'll be on to the next. Out of that mess. One of these days, we gonna make fun of these days. Head on there and never look back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thanks
One
for
of these
playing
days.
that, bro. Thank you.
Not a problem, man. Right now, before we go, let them know how to follow. For those that don't know, let them know how to, where to find you at, how to follow you, how to find your music, and give out your shout outs if you have any shout outs you want to give out.
Oh Lord, where to find me? You know, man. Well, at Bobby W Music would be my Instagram handle. Actually, I'm just gonna send everybody to bobbywmusic.com. My website just kind of acts as a hub for all the things I'm doing. So if you want to hear my music, you can get to it through the website. If you want to learn about Sweetwater Zen Center, you can get to it from the website. If you want to help out with the showers or Community Through Hope, you can see it at the website, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I encourage everybody to go to bobbywmusic.com. Thank you so much for having me, brother.
No problem. Any shout outs you want to give out before we go?
Shit, shout out to Community Through Hope. Shout out to Sayson up in Alaska. Shout out to Dominique out in China right now. Shout out to Stefan. Shout out to all my Alley Cat brethren. Royce the Voice, Gutterball, thanks for stopping by. Shout out to Kaveh Navab, one of the most brilliant healers and thinkers of our time. Shout out to Pedestrian from Anticon Music, one of the most mind-blowing lyricists I've ever met. Shout out to Tyronic, man. Tyronic, thank you for putting me on. Thank you for being such a good neighbor. And shout out to you, man. Thank you so much for having me.
No doubt. And when we starting back up, I need you at the open mic and showcase event.
At Vibes, that's right. I'm gonna get over this little here, and I'm gonna come out and do a little something for you for sure.
Hey, I appreciate you, man. I look forward to hearing and seeing more from you and getting to know you more. So
back at you.
Hey, it's your big homie Trey Boogie. This is Let's Chop It Up, and I'll holler.
F&G shit. F&G shit. Shot
Your big homie Trey Boogie.
We slide.
Johnny Rocket.
Sliding in the rental, trying to run a milli up. In the southeast, Trey Boogie been a plug. Rubber bands on the blues, hella panoramic views. If you get into it with the squad, you can never lose. It's on the flow like Yellow Rider. I got your vibe on her toes like nail polish. In the city, we get respected from everybody. You about to pull up on Trey Boogie, now let's chop it. If you talking about the game, let's chop it up. If you talking about the hustle, let's chop it up. If you talking about the grind, let's chop it up. Talking about some fly vibes, baby, let's chop it up. If you talking about the game, let's chop it up. If you talking about the hustle, let's chop it up. If you talking about the grind, let's chop it up. Talking about some fly vibes, baby, let's chop it up. Let's chop it up. Got it wet, it's not a cut. Ain't worried about what nobody else got, cause I got enough. Me and Trey Boogie locked in, he threw a lob, I dunk. Heard the beat and sauced it up, can't nobody go hard as us. If you talking about the game, let's chop it up. If you talking about the hustle, let's chop it up. If you talking about the grind, let's chop it up. Talking about some fly vibes, baby, let's chop it up. If you talking about the game, let's chop it up. If you talking about the hustle, let's chop it up. If you talking about the grind, let's chop it up. Talking about some fly vibes, baby, let's chop it up.